Right, well, good morning everyone, and welcome to this annual general meeting of the South Cheshire Chamber of Commerce. We are Cora, and we have a number of people with us online. Welcome to you. We are recording this session, so that's just to let you know what's going on. Be careful what you say. The first item on the list is for apologies. Madeline, we've got some apologies.
Yes, we have Michelle Davis from the Guinness Partnership, Lisa Crawford from Likewise, Andy Wood, WR Estates, Mick Dunlop, August Outdoor, Linda Bradbury, Costco, and Lily Pratico, per Temps.
Okay, thank you. Item 2 is the minutes of the last AGM held on the 8th of December 2023. Those of you who were there, are you prepared to confirm that they are a correct record of the meeting? Thank you, Richard. Seconded? David? Thank you, David. Right, so that's approved, and I'll sign that. Okay, what's the date here? 12. Right, okay. Item 3, we've got to receive the chair's statement, so I'll invite Robert Parton, sorry, our chairman, to give his statement.
Right, do you want me up there?
If you like, yeah.
Might take longer to walk in than it will to do it. Where's the camera? Right. Morning all on Zoom land or Teams land. Hi there. Great to see you all. Most of you in the room actually do know me, but for those who don't, and maybe a few people out there who aren't, I'm Robert Parton, owner, managing director of Aqueduct Marina in Church Mitchell. All things canal boats is the day job. So we opened the marina 15 years ago. Now employing about 30 people, so that's my sort of day job when I'm not chairing chamber meetings and things. Shortly after opening the marina, I don't know, so 14 years ago, we joined the chamber as a business, and ever since then, been quite an active member, awards, various networking events, training things. So I've been around sort of events and thoroughly enjoyed it, and used the chamber as my local business support sort of group. Then 2 years ago, to my surprise, I was asked to join the board. Got a phone call from Paul and was press ganged by a couple of the board members, David. And yeah, so I joined the board 2 years ago, and yeah, delighted to join, and it's been really interesting. And we meet once a month, or try to meet once a month, and yeah, with the board, it's been really good, and I've really enjoyed getting sort of a feel of what really goes on in Crewe, but also behind the scenes in the chamber. And morning. And then so I joined the board 2 years ago, and then earlier this year, Diane Wright, who was chair till recently, announced that she wanted to step down from the chair role of the board, which was a bit of a shame. There was a look around the room, and I must be the last person to put my head down. But so to my shock, horror, and also delight, I was ended up in the role of the chair. Now, having said that, I've now been in the role of the chair since September, and also at about the same time, some of you will know, I'm very involved with British Marine, who is the marine leisure trade body. I sit on the board of British Marine, and I became president of British Marine in July of this year. So I'm currently, in 3 months, president of British Marine and chair of the South Cheshire Chamber. So life is quite busy at the moment. So looking around the room at the screen, we have got a very good board, and we're all going to share the workload, as diaries can be quite tough at times. But having said all that, the 3 months since taking on the role, it's been fascinating, interesting, and actually very enjoyable. Actually, I've learned an awful lot and really enjoyed what bit I've done so far. And I think it'll take me a while to get my feet under the table and really work out what the role is and what I need to do, but what the chamber needs to do. But so far, it's been fascinating. The meetings I've sat in locally, our chamber, South Cheshire Chamber of Commerce, without any doubt, is the local South Cheshire business voice that our local authorities and people go to for that support, encouragement, ideas, cajoling, and the respect people like Paul and his team have built up is extraordinary. So that's been really quite exciting, if I'm honest, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the meetings I've sat in so far. So not wanting to go on for too long, but sort of I sat in 2 meetings with the top table of Cheshire East, leaders of, chief execs and this sort of thing, and all around what's the future for Crewe, what's the vision for Crewe, and long meetings, lots of discussion. People like John have been around this loop more times than me, and you said something in the meeting which I will repeat, is that these meetings, looking at Crewe, we all know Crewe, we all love it, we're all live locally, but Crewe actually got a lot going for it. It's the eastern side of Crewe, as you referred to, around Basswood there, huge change over the last 10 years, massive lots of new sheds and building. West of Crewe, Lake Hospital's going to be revamped, and new hospital coming our way, which is fantastic for the area. Bentley Motors are doing great things down at their end. So around Crewe there's lots of really good stuff going on that people like John and others have been involved with for much longer than I have. So these things take time. The problem with Crewe is obviously the middle of Crewe and probably the bits of the station as well. So lots of talk about that now, which is quite interesting, and I've said I quite enjoyed the meetings that I sat in, and fair to Paul, you know, when he rings them up, he seems to get a response, and they seem to want to listen, which is fantastic. So so that's been quite interesting. The other thing that's been sort of bubbling away in the background, the demise of High Speed 2 this last year or so, has focused a few minds in Crewe as well. All this promised investment that was coming on the back of High Speed 2 is now potentially not going to happen. But actually there will be a railway line between Birmingham, Crewe, Liverpool and Manchester. We need to make sure that the metro mayors of Manchester, Liverpool and Birmingham don't bypass Crewe, get hundreds round us and decide not to stop at Crewe. So there is a piece of work for the Chamber to make sure that we keep our local councillors or our own metro mayor, whatever happens coming up in the next few years and months, that we make sure we hold their feet to the fire to make sure that we bang the drum for Crewe, and do make sure that the trains stop at Crewe, because Crewe is one of the major hubs in the country. We need to make sure it retains it, because ultimately we're all business people in the area, we're all running businesses, charities and things. We're all employing people in the area. We want Crewe to be vibrant, successful, a place people want to live, work, enjoy life, as well as invest. And we are all invested in Crewe, and it's just key that we keep pushing that drum, or else we'll make sure Crewe doesn't get forgotten. So that's been quite interesting the last couple of months, and I'll enjoy being part of for the next few years, I suspect. The other one that's happening, and I don't want to steal Paul's thunder for later, but there's been the takeover of the North Chamber of Commerce, North Cheshire Chamber of Commerce, should I say. Amicable changeover, I would suggest it is, by agreement. That's now, I believe, signed and sealed, and it's going to be quite a lot of work for us as a board to sort out how that exactly runs. But in my mind, I think the key thing is, and again, I don't want to steal Paul's thunder for later, but our South Cheshire Chamber is one of the smallest chambers in the country, but also one of the most successful. We are one of the very few that's actually growing by membership. There is something in that small and growth, and we are really well networked into our local, what's going on in the area. We need to make sure we don't lose that. So in my mind, the North is to replicate what we're doing well, not dilute what we do. So interesting to see how we develop that over the next year or so. That's probably enough from me. We've got a strategy meeting in January for the board, when we'll look at Wilson Business Park, the North takeover, all the things that are going on. So we'll look at that in January, refocus our energies and directions, and hopefully move forward. So that's enough from me. Thank you all for coming, and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Robert. Very full report, and as you say, busy times.
Yeah.
Right, item 4 is to consider and adopt the report and accounts for the period 1st of April 2023 to the 31st of March 2024. So I'm going to ask Ben Edwards of Alfred Bond to take us through the accounts. Ben.
Thanks very much, John. When I stand in front of the room, I always go with the best man speech move and think I'm dead funny, so I'll try and avoid that now. Just go through the accounts, which is probably what you want to hear. So, firstly, just to mention, obviously for those of you that have been here before, there is a profit this year, probably for the first time in a while. We lost stood up here, I've never stood up here and said the chamber made a profit before, so that is really positive in terms of you know, the future proofing of the chamber itself. Now, when you look at obviously you've all got the accounts in front of you, so you'll have a copy of the profit and loss account and the balance sheet. Profit and loss account, so you see there £22,000 profit, £92,000 loss last year. When you look at the very top of the page, turnover has gone up, so income has gone up substantially this year. That is mainly due to the local skills improvement plan, so funding from the government for that. But what comes with that, of course, is that money is to be used for spending on, essentially. So the additional expenditure, so the administrative expenses just below that, 580k from 434, that is in the main due to the extra costs of the LSIP. There's been significant investment, continued investment really, as we've spoken about this in the past few years as well, in the staffing at the chamber. Two of the staff, so 3 new staff during the year, 2 of them specifically related to the LSIP as well. So you can see that all looks like it's going in the right direction. Obviously the costs are more than the income. You can see an operating deficit there of £70,000, which is less than last year. Now, what I would say on that is, obviously the reason for that is that the chamber working on behalf of the business community, essentially. I wouldn't necessarily stand up here and expect the chamber to make a profit year on year, because, you know, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be profiteering from its members, it should be there to service the local business community. So where we've been lucky with the chamber really is the cash reserves that have been able to see us through the years where, you know, times have been difficult, and the decision was made by the board strategically to invest some of that cash, and as a result you can see on there it does say amounts written off investments on there, which probably isn't wholly accurate. It's obviously amounts made on investments. Sorry, Madeline, just like so we'll have extra people coming into the room. So it's worth just mentioning there that obviously that investment has performed extremely well for the chamber as well. So the idea there, as I mentioned before, that we're future-proofing the chamber. So if we were to continue, you know, with those kinds of increases in that investment, that prolongs the amount of time that the chamber can assist the business community, essentially. So that's a real positive. Within that turnover also we can see, well, you can't see it, but memberships increased substantially, as has events income, which obviously are great to see. Flipping on to the balance sheet for the business, the most important figure generally on the balance sheet is the bottom number, which you can see has gone up from 536 to 558. That suggests that the chamber's position has been strengthened during the year, and that is as a result of that £22,000 profit that I've just mentioned. Looking through the other figures, you can see that cash has slightly gone down, so the chamber makes a big, what's the word I'm looking for? It's important for the chamber to make sure that they're paying their suppliers on time, essentially. So you can see that from one year to the next, where it says creditors, that has dropped from 140 to 108, and that's purely the chamber making sure they're paying people as soon as possible. The debtors has increased as well. That's due to the LSIP monies being expected but not yet having been received. This is a snapshot specifically at 31st of March, so that money may well have come in on the 1st of April, but of course at that point it hasn't. So it does just look like the money is a little bit slower to come in. There are also those masterclass income in there which will relate to the following year, which will go into there. So at the top of the page you can see that the investment has got that 88k increase as well that I mentioned previously. So all in all, obviously the chamber's performed well in the year. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily expect it to make a profit all the time. I know the investment's continuing to perform well, Paul. So hopefully we'll continue to see that. Like I said, the investment is allowing the chamber to just continue to invest in the members, essentially in the business community locally. So the better that performs, obviously the better it is for the members, essentially. But yeah, pretty much I think that's all I've got to say on it. Obviously, fingers crossed it continues to go in the same way, because that's really positive results.
Okay. Thank you, Ben. Does anybody have any questions for Ben on the accounts? No? Okay, well, in that case, can I ask for someone to propose that we adopt the accounts for the year? Somebody prepared to? Richard, and seconded by David. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Ben.
No problem.
So, the next item, depending on how you all liked Ben's presentation and the figures that he told you, we have to reappoint Messrs. Afford Bond as our independent examiners of the company's accounts for next year. So is someone prepared to propose that?
I think I'd have preferred the best man speech.
Okay, yeah, right, okay. And so proposed and seconded by David again. Okay, you got the job.
Thank you very
Well
much.
done. Okay, see you next year. Okay, right, so then, where are we now? Item 6, well,
This is the best man speech.
listen to this. This is the best man speech. So it's Paul's turn to tell us all about what's been going on during the year and to update us on the North Cheshire that Robert referred to.
Okay, thank you, John. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, thank you, John, and thank you, Robert, for your strategic overview. But I just wanted to obviously give you a bit of a report of the financial year with some highlights, activity, and a bit of insight into what the Chamber's been doing. Don't worry if people see that there's quite a few pages here. This year we've got up a couple of fonts. Not quite one to Specsavers yet, but we're heading that way. So we'll see how we go. But before I get into my report, I would like to take this opportunity to put on record my thanks to Diane Wright, previous chair, who was chair for 6 or 7 years and a director since 2007. I've appreciated her support of the Chamber and the support to me throughout her time with our organisation. During her time as chair, one area she helped tremendously was our rebranding and strategy, including new logo, membership packages and everything you've seen come through. Change can be difficult and a bit unnerving, but it was the right thing to do. We've reaped the rewards of the change, and I look forward to working with Robert as the new chair. One area of the Chamber that has certainly benefited from some of Diane's insight was the membership. At year end, we were up to 321 members, up from 275. This might not seem a huge increase, but it does go against the national trend of chambers, which are seeing a decline, which meant that our chamber was actually the second fastest growing chamber in the United Kingdom, only second to Northern Ireland. I do think the water in between the blocks there does kind of help, but nonetheless, so we're very proud of that. And to achieve that in a backdrop of economic uncertainty, high inflation and post-pandemic disruptions, to have 321 members is excellent. And of those 321 members, we have about 25,000 plus employees that are within that, so you can see that there's quite sizable businesses that are involved. It is a terrific effort by everybody involved, from the board and the Chamber team, and also from members as well. We've had, it's always a testament to Chamber membership when other members are recommending businesses to join the Chamber. That says a lot to us, that they feel confident enough to understand what we're about, what we're doing, and how we can do that. We're also in the top 10 of the chambers with the highest penetration rate. So we're quite proud of our achievements. There's a lot more work to be done. There's a lot more members and businesses to attract, and I'm sure we'll keep doing that. Robert has touched on representation, but that is really a key activity of the Chamber. And we continue to engage and represent businesses on a number of boards and groups. And you'll see in our annual review that we've produced, but will be coming shortly, within that. And it's really important for the Chamber, on behalf of members, we need to make sure that our views, or your views, are heard locally, regionally and nationally. We gather our intelligence through a number of ways. We do have a business council that meets regularly. We have our board, of course, which is made up of members. I have various meetings. We have one-to-one meetings. So we work directly with each chamber we work with each member to achieve their, your goals and ambitions. But our representational activity is really important so that we can create an environment that is conducive to generating economic growth. We provide feedback both to local and national government. Locally, we do this through our MPs, Cheshire East Council and the Local Enterprise Partnership, which is now called Enterprise Cheshire and Warrington, but also the Town Board,
which is overseeing nine projects with an investment of 23 million. We have various lobbying activities, including skills, workforce development, transport infrastructure, net zero, and town centre development, and we of course work with British Chambers of Commerce. I think Robert touched on it really. I do think that we are at a crossroads at the moment for Crewe and Nantwich. We never forget Nantwich, it's just that Crewe is particularly dominant currently with the issues that it's having and the surrounding area. I still think the area is still in a bit of shock since Rishi's, well, I say it probably was Rishi's actually, if you say it's his government, but I wasn't sure it was, everybody was involved in that, pulling the decision, the decision to pull high-speed rail, north of Birmingham. But we need to get our act together to make sure that any north-south rail line connects through Crewe. And you may think that a north-south line would of course connect through Crewe, because why not? Crewe's birth and history and its association with rail and its location, but it's not guaranteed, far from it. The Metro Mayors, Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham have put plans forward for a north-south line to connect major cities, and their proposals do suggest that they should connect through Crewe, but there is a bit of small print that does suggest that if the costs are too high, then maybe bypassing Crewe is what could happen. Rather than be complacent, Robert has mentioned it, we have been pushing the local authority and the public sector to make sure that we present numerous reasons why it's in the UK's interest that connecting through Crewe is a must. One of the big issues we have is there is no vision or growth plan for Crewe and South Cheshire, as Robert mentioned earlier, but we do need a plan. I did mention in the previous year to these accounts, I don't know how far back that goes, but we did establish a Crewe Rail Forum as a chamber. It's going from strength to strength. The Rail Forum includes, as you might imagine, passenger and rail operators, maintenance and manufacturing companies. The forum, which is driven by the chamber, aims to facilitate communication, cooperation and coordination among various organisations, authorities and individuals on behalf of the rail sector. One of the areas that it has been starting to do a lot of work in is careers and skills, Crewe Station, and talking about freight capacity. As you might imagine, the forum has been busy lobbying officials and adding to the voice of Crewe to connect on that line that I have discussed. Also, our local MP, Conor Naismith, newly in post, asked, testament to the group, asked to actually attend the forum to find out what was needed and what the needs are of our area. So it was a credit to Conor that he reached out and wanted to meet the forum and gather intelligence from his quest to put the town on the map and make sure any infrastructure projects include Crewe. I should say, since he was elected, Conor has been very accessible, proactive and reactive. I should remind members that the Chamber is an apolitical organisation and we always work with our elected Member of Parliament. I am conscious that not all of Labour's and Conor's decisions will have approval from the private sector, but nonetheless, it's important we engage with him on all issues affecting our area. Not only does the Chamber help and support individual members with their ambitions, but again, as I mentioned, it's important that we do create this environment where we can all prosper, and that includes the community and residents. I have focused on some of the grand vision for the area and macro issues, but we are involved in issues affecting businesses, whether that's local or a national level. As we know, following the Chancellor's first budget, we have received a tremendous amount of feedback about the issues of increases in the employer's national insurance contributions, inheritance tax, business property relief and new employment legislation. And I must say that this budget has and could hit hard for businesses and will impact growth, affecting residents and community. From my perspective, normally businesses accept that the new measures in the budget, find out the rules and crack on. But after this budget, the feeling and tone for members was very low. To be fair, I don't think this is entirely down to the budget, but the last 5 or 6 years, it's been a very difficult business environment. Obviously, we can go all the way back to Brexit, the economic uncertainty, the COVID pandemic, Ukraine-Russian war, high inflation, the list goes on. So coming through all that and then getting hit by additional staffing costs and new employee measures is pretty hard to take. We also, Richard's in the room, I won't mind me saying that, you know, at local level, and particularly in the town centre, we do a lot of work as a chamber to talk to various individuals to help them with new property or to deal with any issues they have. So thank you to Richard for his work on that. We do always appreciate your feedback when we ask for it. I know surveys and feedback can be a bit of a pain, but and time consuming, but you know, the British Chambers of Commerce, who we feed that information to, do have the ear of government, and we will continue to fight for our businesses in South Cheshire. I do know, and I think John made a comment at our networking lunch, Christmas networking lunch last week. You know, we have a very resilient business community, and I'm confident we'll get through this and prosper. So please keep feeding back comments and information. It was mentioned that we, as a chamber, we are delivering the local skills improvement plan. We're proud to be the employer representative body chosen by Cheshire and Warrington to deliver the Cheshire and Warrington local skills plan. The LSIP is a Department for Education funded project taking place across England. There are 38 regionally based LSIPs, with the majority led by Chambers of Commerce. The LSIP has statutory responsibility for skills. We ensure that the current and future workforce have the necessary skills and access local opportunities, as well as being able to upskill and reskill employees to meet changes within industry. For Cheshire and Warrington, we focus on key sectors of manufacturing, health and social care, life sciences, with cross-cutting themes being digital skills and low carbon skills. We published our initial report in 2003, and we just recently, in June 2024, developed our progress report. Our report sets out 5 key themes: technical skills, accessibility, employability competencies, career education, information, advice and guidance, and educational professionals. Our impact highlights so far include 300 plus business engagements through surveys and face-to-face meetings, plus our 2 businesses and skills conferences, both receiving 100% feedback, which we were very delighted with. 40 plus businesses engaged with our sector groups to give that direct voice on changing that skills provision. We've launched a website and supporting businesses with a needs guide around that. And we've been challenging business and training providers to have a holistic relationship, supporting colleges with new members and different ways of thinking. So if anybody is interested about being part of that local skills improvement plan, please contact the chamber. There is a website, Cheshire Warrington LSIP.co.uk. So on to other activity. We will get there in the end. I don't know what time the moon's booked to, but and I'm not covering everything the chamber does either. Here. So international trade. You know, international trade is a very important part of what the chamber does. You know, I'm sure most people know Chambers of Commerce are all over the world. There's probably 30,000 plus that are out there. So if you're ever in trouble somewhere, you just call on the Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure they'll help. But last year we did see a decrease, or in this financial year we just saw a decrease to delivering 1,480 documents, decrease from 1,750 documents. So it was quite a drop. That was a national issue generally, and that's happened nationwide. You know, one of the main issues has been Brexit, and again the Ukraine war and the impact that has, and there's been issues with shipping containers and lack of those and all sorts going on. We support 45 exporters. Chamber assists with documentation and international trade advice. The products exported include cars, of course, we know which ones they are, Bentley, cheese, oats, sugar, confectionery, with hydraulics and electrical components being in there as well. But you know, the chamber helps goods, £350 million worth of goods abroad, and that's probably an understated amount, to be perfectly honest. So thank you to Jay, who oversees our international trade services. Recently passed the documentation inspection with flying colours, so that is excellent. Other chamber benefits and services. The chamber continues to provide our members with up-to-date information on numerous topics: local regeneration, national news, sharing best practice, and local news. During a difficult time, well, it seems like I'm saying this every year, but it seems to be a difficult time, but it does remind us that the chamber is a trusted organisation within the business community. Sometimes and you see it with other chambers, and we've been in that position before where we've sometimes overcomplicated what we're trying to offer our members, but when you get good solid information, that can help businesses progress and move forward. So it's it's important that we as a chamber create an environment which allows members to interact, which brings me on to the communication services. Jake, who's in the room, hi Jake, oversees our digital marketing and implement our digital strategy and looking at the website and increased activity. I should say, as a reminder, the website includes opportunity for members to interact, promote yourselves, and book onto events. It also includes members' offer section, which I hope you're aware of. There are various offers that members can take advantage of. Marketing and communication continues to play an important role at the chamber with our news, but your news, and we continue to do that through our various media channels. And again, with any of those sort of activities, feedback is welcome. We're here to support your businesses and promote what you are doing. Moving on to events. Again, events are overseen by Dominic Hibbert, events coordinator, ably assisted by Courtney, who's in the room. Courtney Dodd continues to grow our event schedule. During this financial year, we delivered 70 events compared to 42 the previous year, and our attendees grew from 936 to 1,150. Providing a platform for network and building connections is a staple activity for the chamber. One of the most popular events that for members, venues and hosts is the Final Friday, which I'm sure you've all been to at some point. And I know that Courtney's already making booking venues for 2026, I believe. Is that correct, Courtney? So that tends to be working. So there are many events, as you know, but during this year, we have been delivering business masterclasses, which I hope people have attended and found very useful. This was delivered through funding from the UK Shared Prosperity Fund, which was administered by Cheshire East Council. And we've been working with our fellow chambers in Cheshire East. The masterclasses, of course, included sales, business planning, and various things. Hopefully, there'll be continued funding for this, and we'll keep you posted on that. We have introduced, and we're trying to get off the ground, our Young Members Network. We have within that network, there's a personal growth programme which provides young professionals with a course of expert-led workshops, which give them the opportunity to develop important business skills. This empowers them to take on greater responsibilities, drive positive change and bring new value to the organisations. The topics include mastering the art of networking, confidence in the workplace, presenting data with impact, supercharge your sales skills and lead with impact. This was developed following the findings of the LSIP, which I mentioned earlier. Feedback we received from employees from school and college leavers is they lack employability skills, in particular communication skills. Young Members Network can help, and if you need more information, please contact the chamber. But I would encourage people to put their any new employees on that network. I should just wanted to mention the Business Awards. We held our 27th Business Awards. Were held here at Crewe Hall, and we were a success. Over 40 entrants and finalists, and I think everybody had a fantastic evening in wonderful surroundings. I think just for the record, I think the winners included, so the Ambassador of the Year was Nantwich Museum, Apprentice of the Year Martha Green, Everybody Health and Leisure, Business of the Year Crewe Hall Hotel and Spa, and Business of the Year under 25 KR Fleet Solutions, Contribution to the Community, Stroke Survivor Speech and Language Support, Employer of the Year Health Shield, Excellence in Collaboration Daniel Mathias Architect, Excellence Customer Service Crewe Hall, International Trader of the Year SG World, and Startup Business of the Year Cheshire Business Coaching. So congratulations to them all. So overall, we do try and cater for every size and sector of business, and even try and make sure the timing of our events are important. So we can also promote your events. We will be introducing a Chamber CEO update. It'll be an update about me, about various topics, including latest news, interviews with members, guest speakers, local experts on various issues. So you'll see me on the screens again. North Cheshire Chamber, Robert has mentioned it. There isn't too much to update, but I will. As you remember, we had an AGM earlier in the year. I want to say July, but doesn't matter. It was earlier in the year, over the summer. We held an AGM where it was approved that we would be taking over North Cheshire Chamber of Commerce. Their members also approved the move, which will see us effectively merge. The agreement has been signed this week, so it is happening, and something we are now, starting to develop and prepare moving forward. As I mentioned at the time, it's a real, I've talked about representation and where we are and some of the people we have to influence, whether that's Cheshire East Council, whether that's the Cheshire Warrington devolved combined authority, or whether that's government or anyone. I think one of the major opportunities, having the two areas working more closely together, is that lobbying aspect, and pushing and getting, we want what we want in Crewe, but obviously Macclesfield and other areas want what they need as well. So we're going to begin that planning. We're going to introduce a business council like we have here, and many of the things that we do here with the team that we have will obviously replicate up there in North Cheshire, really. So now that it's been agreed, the board are going to be meeting to talk about what the next steps are, what the staffing implications are, what the strategy is, and what the timelines are. And I think it's going to be quite an exciting period for us. A busy period, but an exciting period. So in conclusion, it's been a very difficult training period for our members during this time, but I'm really proud of how the Chamber team continues to step up to meet the challenge and advise our members, plus the lobbying of local and national government, as I have mentioned. So the Chamber is nothing without you, our members, so please engage, talk to us, offer feedback, don't be shy in asking for activity that you'd like help with your business. The Chamber must reflect the needs of the business community. But I'd also like to thank our patrons who provide significant amount of support. That includes Assurant, Bentley Motors, Cheshire College South and West, Mornflake, Reseath College and SG World. I would like to thank the board and in particular John Dunning, our president, and Robert as the chair for their continued support, and the Chamber staff for their hard work during this period. So, anybody have any questions? I can get more of the notes out. But no, any questions? No? Okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Paul. I think you beat my previous record there.
Well,
There's
there's a lot to fit in, John, unfortunately. and I didn't put everything in.
No, a record I'm happy to hand over. So, thanks again. There's a lot. There is a lot going on, and as Paul said, and I know that there's a lot that he hasn't mentioned there. And for a small organisation, which we are really, we do an awful lot. But as Paul said, I think the important thing is that without our members, we're nothing. That's what we're here for. We survive for you and because of you. So it's good to hear all that activity. So item 7 is to appoint directors. So the first part of this, I guess, is Katie Lost, and I guess she was co-opted to the board
She's on the screen
throughout the year. I can see her up there. Katie, hi. So this is really just to ratify her position on the board and to confirm her appointment. So everybody happy with that? Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Welcome, Katie. You've got the job again. I'm giving loads of jobs away today. I like it. As long as they don't come my way, I'm okay. The second part of that is in accordance with our Mem and Arts, we do have a revolving appointment to directors, and the following directors: Andrew Butler, who I see on the screen as well, Andy, and also Andrew Wood, offer themselves for re-election. So is everybody happy to welcome them back onto the board?
All right.
Good. Okay. Thanks, Andy. Item 8, any other business? Is there any other business that anyone would like to raise as relevant to the annual general meeting? No? Okay, well, in that case, I will close the meeting. Thank you to everybody on the top table here. Thank you for attending, and just to reiterate what Robert said earlier on, wish everybody a happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.